As Nigerians groan under the nation's severe economic crunch, their politicians and top public office holders, especially state governors, have taken to flying to Europe for their horse trading over next year's general elections. Since the end of the party primaries in early June, some politicians have flown to different European countries almost weekly for strategic meetings and negotiations over the presidential election. At least three of such meetings were held in London this week, all of which involved Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who is leading a rebellion in the People's Democratic Party (PDP), arising from the nomination of Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate of the party, and his choice of Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate. The latest on Thursday saw Mr. Wike and his associates in the PDP, including Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom, and Abia State Governor Okezi Ikpezu, meeting with Atiku over dinner at a pricey Park Lane Carlton Hotel in London. This came 3 days after a meeting between representatives of Atiku and Mr. Wike's group in Port Harcourt ended in a deadlock. The guests at the London dinner included Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiru, who has led Atiku's delegation to the failed reconciliation meeting of Friday in Port Harcourt. Before their dinner with Atiku, Mr. Wike and his friends also on Thursday in London met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. That meeting came after the group had met with the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Monday in the same city. Accompanying Mr. Tinubu to the meeting were Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his Ekiti State counterpart, Kayode Fayemi. Before the latest series of meetings in London, Mr. Wike's group was in Turkey in June for what an aide of the governor described as a strategic session, as the crisis between the winner and runner-up in the PDP presidential primaries blossomed. Premium Times reported how Mr. Wike had shunned an emissary of Atiku, Adamu Waziru, who the presidential candidate had deployed to the Eastern European country to seek audience with the Rivers governor. Since June, Mr. Wike and his associates have been seen in different European countries several times, but they are not the only Nigerian politicians involved in the new political tourism escapades. Mr. Tinubu was hosting political meetings in the United Kingdom and France even before he announced his presidential bid early this year, while Atiku had also been hosting his in Dubai, where he relocated after his defeat in the 2019 presidential election. The politicians are indulging in these escapades despite the high cost in hard currencies as a result of the collapse of the value of the naira. As allocations from the federal account shrinks, many state governments are depending on loans and bailouts from the federal government to pay salaries, while mostly defaulting in payment of pensions to retired workers. A report last month by the nation's newspapers shows that almost all the 36 states of the Federation have a backlog of pension and gratuities to clear. According to the report, apart from owing retired workers 20-year gratuities and 38-month pension, Mr. Ikpezu's Abia State government has also not paid lecturers in Abia State University for 10 months and those in the state polytechnics for 30 months, while Benue, Lagos, Ekiti, Adamawa are among states also owing huge amounts of gratuities. Nigerian state governors usually pass the bill for their political activities to their states, mostly drawing hundreds of millions of naira from their treasuries to cover the cost of air tickets, hotel accommodation, and shopping for themselves, aides, and political hangers-on. This has led to many Nigerians on social media and news platforms decrying the development. Reacting to a report by The Punch on the meeting on Thursday between Atiku and Wike, a commentator wrote, "What are these people doing in London for Pete's sake? The cost of lodging at the Carlton where these guys are is about 500,000 naira per night. These are not leaders, but dealers. It's unfortunate. And some of the comments that came from this their meeting, we know Nyesom Wike and Atiku Abubakar, they've been at loggerheads, and crisis, the party has been torn apart with different issues. Wike's grievance is there. He wants the national chairman, Yocha Ayu, to resign. He's also said that most of the governors betrayed him. And it all started after the primaries. But anyways, with their differences and all of that, someone mentioned that now they say they have settled, they've resolved their differences. That of what benefit is that to the masses? Good question. Of what benefit? How does it benefit the masses? Because these guys are politicians. They're just playing politics. Who knows what was put on the table for Nyesom Wike? Because you can see them all smiling and eating together. And Nyesom Wike even meeting with APC's presidential candidate. We know how Nyesom Wike have always criticized the All Progressive Congress government, that they have nothing to offer and all of this. I'm not speaking for APC, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, if we look at these politicians closely, like this last commentator stated, that these guys are not politicians, they are dealers. It looks like that. Because all of these meetings, they can hold them in Nigeria as the cost of living is going higher and higher. Nigerians are really living in hardship, that these guys are just flying to different parts of the world to hold meetings. They call it strategic meetings. We recall earlier in the year, even before the primaries, head, Tinubu was out of the country. That was how governors were flocking in. At that time, it was said that Tinubu's residence in London was now Mecca. The way people were going in and out. And the surprising part of all of it, after coming out, they are not able to say anything. What did you guys go there for? What happened? What transpired? We only went to greet him. Nothing happened. But they keep going as though there's something they are giving out to them there. See all of them traveling out to different parts of the world, and they are the same set of people who are criticizing one another. APC will criticize PDP, PDP will criticize APC. They are same recycled politicians, and this is not what these recycled politicians will not bring change. The change we are looking for will not come from these recycled politicians. Well, guys, let's hear your own take. Leave us your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you once again for staying tuned, and please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Till I come your way again on more updates. Bye.